Chapter 3. Encountering Blackwood. The hum of his laptop was a constant companion in the pre-dawn hours. Ethan, his face illuminated by the ethereal glow of the screen, scrolled through a series of encrypted forums, each a digital cavern teeming with shadowy figures exchanging cryptic messages. He was no longer just observing, he was subtly participating, probing the boundaries, testing the waters. He used carefully constructed pseudonyms, each a meticulously crafted persona designed to blend seamlessly into the digital landscape. His interactions were measured, his words carefully chosen, his digital footprint meticulously erased after each session. He was a ghost in the machine, a phantom moving through the digital underworld. His presence felt only in the faintest ripples of data. His digital prowess attracted unwanted attention. One particular user, identifying himself only as Blackwood, began to engage Ethan in increasingly complex conversations, his messages laced with a chilling intelligence that mirrored Ethan's own. Blackwood's posts weren't simply insightful comments. They were challenges, veiled tests designed to gauge Ethan's capabilities. The questions were subtle, probing beyond the surface level of the discussions, demanding an understanding that went beyond technical proficiency. They delved into the psychology of manipulation, the art of deception, the intricacies of human behavior. Ethan responded in kind, his replies a carefully calibrated blend of knowledge and calculated ambiguity. He engaged Blackwood in intellectual sparring matches, showcasing his mastery of cryptography, his understanding of social engineering, and his uncanny ability to anticipate his opponent's moves. He was playing a dangerous game, a high-stakes gamble where the prize was access to a world he had only dreamed of. The risk was significant, the potential rewards immeasurable. He continued to engage Blackwood, driven by an insatiable curiosity and a chillingly rational ambition. The exchange continued for weeks, a digital dance of wits and deception. Blackwood's cryptic messages became more direct, his hints more explicit. He implied a willingness to mentor Ethan, to guide him through the labyrinthine pathways of the criminal underworld. He offered access to knowledge and resources that Ethan could only dream of obtaining on his own. It was an invitation, but one shrouded in layers of suspicion and unspoken threats. Finally, Blackwood issued a direct challenge, a meeting. The location was given in a series of coded coordinates, leading Ethan to a secluded warehouse district on the outskirts of the city. The air hung heavy with the scent of decay and damp concrete. The warehouse itself was a dilapidated structure, its windows boarded up, its walls scarred with graffiti. The only light emanated from a single flickering bulb hanging precariously from the ceiling. Ethan arrived precisely at the appointed time, his movements deliberate and controlled. He approached the warehouse with the quiet grace of a predator, his senses heightened, his every step calculated. He carried no weapons, no tools of violence. His only weapon was his mind, his only tool, his intellect. Inside, the warehouse was even more desolate than it had appeared from the outside. The air was thick with dust, the silence broken only by the occasional drip of water from a leaky pipe. In the center of the room, illuminated by the single bare bulb, sat a man. He was older than Ethan had anticipated, his face etched with the lines of a life lived in the shadows. His eyes, however, held an unnerving youthfulness, a glimmer of something both intelligent and intensely dangerous. This was Blackwood. He gestured to a crate in the corner of the room, motioning for Ethan to sit. The crate was rough-hewn and scarred, a fitting symbol of the world Blackwood inhabited. There was no small talk, no pleasantries. The silence between them was heavy with unspoken expectations, laced with the tension of a coiled viper. "Impressed," Blackwood said, his voice a low, gravelly rumble. "Your digital footprint is remarkable. You move like a ghost." Ethan remained silent, his expression impassive. He met Blackwood's gaze without flinching, his eyes revealing nothing of his inner thoughts. Blackwood leaned back, a slight smile playing on his lips. But digital prowess alone is insufficient in this world. This is a game of flesh and blood. He paused, his gaze penetrating. You understand that, yes? Ethan nodded, a small, almost imperceptible movement. Then let's dispense with the pleasantries. Blackwood continued, his voice hardening. I want to see what you can truly do. Prove to me that you are worthy. Blackwood's words were a challenge, an invitation, and a threat, all rolled into one. He produced a photograph, a grainy image of a man, his face obscured by shadows. The picture was poorly lit and blurry, but Ethan's mind immediately started to process the image, noting the subtle details, the textures, the inconsistencies. This man, Blackwood said, pointing to the photograph, he needs to disappear. Blackwood's words hung in the air, pregnant with implications. The request was simple, almost mundane, yet it held the weight of a lifetime. This wasn't simply a test of skill, it was an initiation, a rite of passage into a world that existed beyond the boundaries of law and morality. Ethan felt a thrill run through him, not fear, but exhilaration. He had been preparing for this moment his entire life. Tell me, Blackwood said, his eyes fixed on Ethan. How will you do it? Ethan felt a surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. His mind, a well-oiled machine, began to work, assembling pieces of information, calculating probabilities, assessing risks. He started to construct a plan, a meticulous blueprint of how he would proceed. The details were already forming in his mind, a cascade of ideas that flowed seamlessly, each piece connecting flawlessly with the next. He spent the next hour outlining his plan to Blackwood, speaking in calm, precise tones. He described the methodology, the strategies, the contingencies, his voice devoid of emotion, his words precise and efficient. He mapped out the entire operation, from the initial reconnaissance to the final disposal, detailing each step with the detached precision of a surgeon preparing for a complex operation. He was laying bare his methods, his knowledge, his capabilities. Blackwood listened intently, his expression unreadable. When Ethan was finished, a long silence hung in the air, broken only by the rhythmic dripping of water. Then a slow smile spread across Blackwood's face. Impressive, Blackwood murmured, his voice barely a whisper. Very impressive indeed. You have potential. The implication hung heavy in the air. Ethan had passed his test. He had proven himself worthy. His ascent into the world of shadows had begun. The genesis of Cipher was complete. The game had begun.